Why do some dogs seem to predict disasters? What science has revealed? Did you know that minutes before an earthquake devastates a city, a seemingly ordinary dog can start acting as if he knows something terrible is about to happen? But how do they do it? Is it magic, instinct, or something that science has finally managed to explain? For centuries, stories about dogs predicting disasters have intrigued scientists and left people amazed. In 1975, in China, hundreds of dogs began barking desperately, refused to go inside their homes, and even tried to pull their owners out. Shortly after, a 7.3 magnitude earthquake hit the region. Coincidence? Maybe not. Recent studies show that dogs have a unique ability to detect seismic vibrations and chemical changes in the air before natural disasters. But what's even more incredible is how it happens. Researchers have discovered that a dog's sense of smell is so sensitive that it can smell gases released by the ground before an earthquake, something that no human equipment can capture with such precision. And it's not just earthquakes. Reports of dogs predicting floods, storms, and even tsunamis have been increasing over the years. In 2004, in Thailand, a dog named Elephant began running into the hills and pulling a group of tourists with him. Minutes later, the tsunami that devastated the Indian Ocean arrived. He saved dozens of lives. But how are these behaviors interpreted? Do all dogs have this ability, or just some? Science still doesn't have all the answers, but one thing is certain. While humans rely on advanced technology, dogs use something that seems to be a sixth sense. In addition to earthquakes and tsunamis, there are remarkable reports of dogs seemingly predicting volcanic eruptions. In 1985, before the eruption of the Nevado del Ruiz volcano in Colombia, residents reported that several dogs began acting extremely anxious, barking incessantly, and trying to escape the area. Some suspicious owners followed their dogs out of the danger zone and survived. But what were these animals sensing that humans couldn't? The explanation may lie in a combination of heightened senses and instinctive behavior. Dogs' sense of smell is so powerful that they can detect changes in the levels of carbon dioxide and sulfur in the air, gases that are often released before volcanic eruptions. In addition, their acute hearing can pick up low-frequency sounds called infrasound that are emitted when magma moves beneath the surface. But that's not all. Some scientists believe that dogs also have a unique perception of the Earth's magnetic field. Changes in this field, caused by tectonic shifts or major geomagnetic storms, could be noticed by dogs before any visible evidence is visible to humans. It's as if they have a natural radar that keeps them in touch with forces we barely understand. A curious study conducted in Japan revealed that dogs in areas with greater seismic activity showed higher levels of anxiety before tremors occurred. They would whine, try to run away, or become extremely restless. The most intriguing part: many of these signals began up to 24 hours before any seismic activity detectable by devices. But it's not just major disasters that dogs seem to predict. Some people report that their dogs become agitated before severe storms, floods, or even forest fires. It seems that they can pick up on nuances in the environment that go unnoticed by us. Is this extraordinary ability something that all dogs possess, and that only some manifest more clearly? Or is it a combination of genetics, environment, and training? Regardless of the answer, one thing is clear. Dogs have something that goes beyond our understanding, and that makes them even more special. Now imagine what could happen if we were able to study and fully understand these canine abilities. We could save thousands of lives by correctly interpreting the signals they give us. After all, it's no exaggeration to say that our best friends can also be our best warnings. The relationship between dogs and disaster predictions also makes us reflect on how we underestimate animals and their capabilities. For many scientists, the real question is not, how do dogs do this? But rather, why haven't we learned to trust them more? Throughout history, we have countless examples of dogs saving lives through unexplained behavior, but these signs are often ignored or dismissed as mere coincidence. In addition to natural disasters, dogs have also demonstrated incredible abilities to predict health crises in their owners. For example, there are documented cases of dogs being able to identify an epileptic seizure minutes before it happens, or even detect certain types of cancer through smell. These behaviors reinforce the idea that dogs' senses are picking up information that we don't yet fully understand. One fascinating theory suggests that, because they live so close to us, dogs have developed a unique sensitivity to our emotions and the environment around us. This could explain why they become agitated in situations that at first glance don't seem threatening to us. They not only sense danger, but they also pick up on our reactions, even when we're not aware of them. And here's something to think about. If dogs can pick up such subtle signals from nature, are we really taking advantage of the full potential they have to offer us? Imagine a future where trained dogs could work as living sensors in areas prone to earthquakes, volcanoes, or other catastrophes. This collaboration between humans and dogs could revolutionize the way we deal with disasters. Most impressively for dogs, saving lives is not just a skill, but a demonstration of loyalty. They don't do it for reward or recognition. They do so because they care about us in ways we may never fully understand. And what about the stories that still defy scientific explanation? In 2011, shortly before the devastating tsunami that struck Japan, numerous reports of dogs in coastal areas exhibiting strange behavior. Some were crying, others were running to higher ground, and many were refusing to enter homes. These signs saved many lives, but they also raised a disturbing question. If we had paid more attention, how many more lives could have been saved? Interestingly, some ancient cultures seem to understand this connection between dogs and disasters better. Indigenous peoples around the world believed that animals, especially dogs, were spiritual sentinels capable of sensing the imbalance of the earth. To them, ignoring these signs was to defy the forces of nature. Perhaps these traditions contain wisdom that we are only beginning to rediscover. And if you think this ability is limited to natural disasters, think again. Research shows that dogs can also sense subtle changes in human behavior that precede major emotional or social events. There are reports of dogs becoming extremely anxious hours before bombings during wars or mass traumatic events. Could they be picking up on something that transcends the physical, such as an energy or vibration? This question remains unanswered. At the same time, some question the extent to which these behaviors are a form of instinctive communication. Some experts argue that dogs may be trying to alert their owners simply because they sense danger and feel the need to protect the pack. For them, it is not about predicting the future, but rather a natural reaction to stimuli that we do not perceive. What do you think? Are dogs truly natural oracles? Or do they simply have such keen senses that they seem to predict the unpredictable? Regardless of the answer, one thing is certain. The bond between humans and dogs is one of the most profound connections in history. They not only share our lives, but also help us see and feel the world in ways we could never imagine. Ultimately, as science continues to unravel the mysteries behind these abilities, perhaps the greatest lesson we can learn is this: to trust our four-legged companions' instincts more. After all, in a world where we often rely on technology, our dogs remind us that nature still holds powerful secrets, and they may be the key to unlocking them. So the next time your dog displays unusual behavior, remember, he may be sensing something you haven't yet. After all, science may continue to investigate, but the true power of dogs is something that many owners already know by heart. Because, in the end, the greatest mystery may not be in what they feel, but in how much we still have to learn from them.